Right, we've just witnessed an outstanding final at the World Cup between India's very own Pragnanandha as well as arguably the greatest chess player of all time in Magnus Carlsen. Joining us right now, Sanjay Kapoor, who's the head of Indian Chess Federation, as well as Prag himself. Thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to India today. Prag, let me start with you. How do you sum up today's rapid fire two games? Where do you think it went wrong for you?
Yeah, the first game was the important one where it went wrong, and I had a good position, but then I kind of spoiled it a bit in time crunch, and yeah, and then second game I didn't get much chances. I had to win in a must-win game with Black, which is not easy, and he's also very experienced in such situations. So yeah, I think yeah, I could have maybe put up a better fight, but I mean we have been playing here for 4 weeks already, and yeah. I'm very happy, first of all, to be in the finals, and in general, uh, yeah, I'm just happy about the way I was playing overall in the.
Right, you played very, very well. You made the country really proud. That's what I wanted to get to. We saw in that classic chess game, especially the second game, you did realize that because he was not really, he was under the weather in that sense, Carlsen. So he was playing for the draw. It was pretty much evidence right from the start that he was playing for a draw. Do you think, in that sense, because he had made up his mind he's going to play for a draw, he had more time to prepare for this rapid fire against you, and you had less time in that sense?
I don't think it mattered. I don't think that mattered for today. I mean, I still had enough time, and I don't think we both were preparing so much for today. We were just trying to rest because it has already um, been close to a month. We have been playing, so we are pretty much exhausted. Um, yeah, I wanted to be in the best shape today. I guess I was, but yeah, sometimes things just don't go in a way.
I spoke to your coach, RB Ramesh, just before your final started, and he was mentioning to me that, when you went for this tournament, you had only prepared till, let's say, Nakamura. After that, everything came as a bonus. Did you have, in that sense, less time to prepare for the following battles? You did really well to reach the final, but in that sense, because you went there thinking only till about Nakamura, in hindsight, could you have done things differently?
No, not really, because you never know who you are going to face after a certain point. Even before
Mm.
that, it's hard to predict. You just kind of guess because they are the favorite, they might win. But the after a certain point, it's just very hard to guess. And I think that's the nature of this tournament. And I don't think anyone was preparing for any round. Like after a certain point, it's very hard to guess who's gonna win because, as I said, this is just an unpredictable event.
Mr. Kapoor, I'd love to know from you as well that you've been there, you saw this final. But in general, I'm sure a lot of people must have come to you knowing the fact that there were so many Indians who did well, and especially Prag's performance. What is the kind of sense that you got from the rest of the chess world when they were looking at Prag and his performance here at the World Cup?
He is a star. One word, he's a star. And Chaturang is an Indian game, and he'll be back to its
Yes.
roots. And we are back. A golden era of chess is starting in India again.
Okay, as you say, golden era of chess is going to start. And this is something that Vishwanathan Anand also told me 2 days ago. I was interviewing him, and he mentioned the exact same thing, that this is effectively the golden era. What I can see right now next to you, Prag, is the sari of your mother. So I'm guessing it's your mother sitting
Yeah,
to the.
I've got her for you. I've got her for you.
You know what, ma'am, I've been seeing your pictures. You've been standing there very quietly in one corner, not interfering in his games. But tell me, I understand that you said in a few interviews that you don't understand much about chess, but you look at his face and you find out what position the game is in. Today also, were you doing that when the final was happening?
Yeah, no, she wasn't in the playing hall. She was at the room. But
Okay.
yeah, in general, yeah, she follows the games. That day specifically because it had gone to like the last segment of the match. Yeah, she came down to watch the match. But in general, yeah, she tries to pray during the games and yeah, try not to take pressure, but in the end, she takes a lot of pressure.
Okay, but the one thing I know that you love, Prag, you love your rasam and rice. Did you get a lot of rasam and rice during this tournament? And is that one of the reasons that you were able to perform this well?
Yeah, of course. My mother was cooking here. In general, yeah, I prefer not taking too much outside food, especially in other countries, because
Yeah.
it can get you sick. And
Yes.
yeah, that happened to Magnus 2 days back. So yeah, for me, yeah, home food is always best. I guess for everyone. Um, yeah, so I was fortunate to get that.
Yeah, you know what? You can learn a lot from Magnus, but if there's one thing that Magnus can learn from you, is to always have somebody, home, give him home cooked food, because we know he wasn't keeping very well. He had an upset stomach in the first two games that he played against you. Today looked far more his usual self. But the one other thing that's really happened for you is you've qualified for the candidates. You now are not in a position which you could have been earlier. You had to wait for Magnus's decision whether he's going to participate and only then get to play. But now that you qualified well in advance, does that put you in a better frame of mind? And now you can, totally focus on that candidates that will happen in April in Canada.
Yeah, of course. It's much better because yeah, it's not a like a good feeling like to qualify when you have to wait for others' decision. Yeah, it's better to qualify directly, and I'm very happy to do that. And yeah, I can already start to prepare mentally. Also, chess wise, it's like 6 months away. No, maybe a bit more than that. But yeah, I still have a lot of tournaments this year. So
Mm.
for now, I'll just try to keep on going with what I'm doing, and then maybe when I get a break, I'll start to really focus on that.
Okay, last couple of questions, and this is for both Mr. Kapoor and you. Do you have any idea of the kind of interest that you have generated, Prag? Because I'll tell you what, I was just going through digital media, just on YouTube itself. There were so many channels broadcasting or talking about your final, and there were lakhs and lakhs of people who were watching on news channels. There was continuous coverage. You're far away in Azerbaijan. Did you have any idea with the kind of interest that was being shown back home here about your final?
Yeah, of course, I heard some numbers and so on, and yeah, it feels really good that like coming to the final not only helps you, but also helps to grow the game. So yeah, I'm very happy in that way that more and more people are interested in chess, and chess is growing. That's very important.
I should tell you, I have a dream that every child, one child in each house of India should play chess, not professionally, but it is very good for the mind. And, children are playing video games today, but I want
Yes.
each child to play chess because when you play video games, your mind goes bunk. It's dumb and blank. Blank is the right word. But when you play chess, your mind sharpens it sharpens your motor skills. It overall brings the growth in your mind, and it will overall bring the mind's growth. And for India, the minds need to grow.
You know what? It was a perfect example of someone who did that. What you're just advocating, Mr. Kapoor, is the boy sitting to your right, because I read a story that he and his sister used to watch a lot of TV, and their mother got fed up and said, "No more TV. Start playing chess." And that's where we got these champions in Prague, and his sister
I
as
should
well.
tell you,
Who's a,
his mother is a rock star even.
I know, I know.
Very
She's
quiet
been
rock star.
playing. She's been playing a very important role. Final question. Prag, Mr. Kapoor says it's a golden generation. There were so many Indians on display. There's Gukesh, who's been spoken a lot about here back home. Then there is Arjun, who's a dear friend of yours. There's yourself. This whole bunch of youngsters that are coming up. What's your equation with them? Are you like guys very friendly? Do you hang out together? How's your equation with, let's say, Arjun and a Gukesh?
Yeah, of course, we are all friendly, and yeah, as I said in previous interviews and so on, I like when we are off the board, we are very good friends, and when we are playing each other on the board, and we'll just fight. I think we are able to keep the game aside while we are just chilling and so on. Yeah, and like Arjun was also very close in this event. It was unfortunate that we had to play each other, because if we had uh, played a different against different players, would have been, maybe we both could have made it to the candidates. But yeah, there is still a lot of chance for Arjun and Mukesh, and also others, Vidit and Ariana as well, also
Yeah.
Nihal. So there are many. Yeah, I'm hoping um, like all of them can make it to other ways.
One final question, because you were talking about this competition and you talk about that game that you had with Arjun that actually went down to the blitz. That was my question. You played 3 time control games, the rapid fire, before reaching the final. Do you think if you didn't have, and we know how chess can be really tiring on the body as well as the mind, had you not had those intense encounters earlier, maybe a bit of an easy route to the final, you could have given a better account of yourself in the final? Those 3 rapid fires that you went with took a toll on you, both physically, mentally, in the final?
Yeah, of course. I played 14 classical chess alone, and if you take the tie breaks into account, yeah, of course, there's been a lot of games, and especially the tie breaks, because also the one against Arjun, there were so many emotions involved, because each game, um, he was also coming back again and again, so it was really a very, very challenging match for both of us, and yeah, of course, it makes you tired and exhausted. But yeah, I guess that's the format of this tournament, and yeah, I have to be ready for such matches.
Okay, thank you so much for taking our time, Praggnanandhaa, and speaking to India today. Thank you, Mr. Kapoor. Ma'am, thank you for joining us. And I'll only sum up this interview by what Mr. Kapoor said. That man in the center of the screen is a star, and we're keeping a close eye on him. May he go on to do greater things in the future. Thank you so much once again for speaking to us.
मैच से जुड़े आपके हर सवाल का हम देंगे जवाब। जानने के लिए हर अपडेट, लाइव एनालिसिस, स्पेशल इंटरव्यूज डाउनलोड कीजिए स्पोर्ट्स तक ऐप।